Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are just a week away from release now, and I'm super thrilled to finally get to experience the nostalgia of Sinnoh in all its chibi glory. But I'll admit I am still a little bummed that we might never get to see Mega Evolutions return to the series. I'm still holding out hope that this fan favorite feature might return in a future generation, but it's almost certainly not happening in these remakes, so today I'd simply like to imagine what could have been if Mega Evolutions were in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Rather than just listing which Pokemon I would most want to go beyond, I thought it'd be fun to look through each of the Sinnoh Gym Leaders' teams and pick which member of their parties would most likely Mega Evolve. So if you guys are excited, smash that like button and subscribe to stay tuned for my Let's Play of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl coming up as soon as those games drop, and let's get started with Rourke. Now obviously the first few gym leaders are a bit too low level for Mega Evolutions, but that doesn't mean they couldn't get one later in the post-game for a rematch. And even though this Rock-type expert already has a couple of Pokemon capable of Mega Evolving on his team, I think he would definitely rather have a new Mega Evolution for his partner Rampardos. Interestingly, Rampardos is the only fossil Pokemon that is pure Rock-type, but I think it'd be much cooler if it became the first non-legendary Rock and Fighting type, as currently the only one is Terrakion, and much like it, Rampardos wouldn't necessarily rely on its fist to do the fighting. I mean, it's like a T-Rex, they got little arms. Now, I remember when Mega Evolutions first came out, they were kind of different from regular evolution because it pushed Pokemon beyond their physical limits, sometimes even having drawbacks or hurting the Pokemon when it was in this form. Like Mega Alakazam's Pokedex entry claiming that as a result of Mega Evolution, it's gained great psychic energy but lost all strength in its muscles. Or Mega Garchomp, whose excess energy literally melted its arms and wings, transforming them into giant scythes. This could potentially be why Mega Evolutions weren't brought back into the series, because they like hurt the Pokemon, and even though they're hurting each other when they're battling, I guess that was just a little too much for that PG rating, but I'm fully embracing the dark side of Mega Evolution with my ideas here. So for Rampardos, I like to imagine that its big ol' shiny rock head actually becomes even bigger, possibly taking over most of its like body weight, so it can really only charge forward right at the enemy. And due to its big ol' head becoming even larger, I think the ability Rock Head would be perfect. In fact, I don't know how Rampardos doesn't already have the Rock Head ability, because its main gimmick is its giant rock head, but it doesn't have it, so it'd be perfect for a Mega Evolution. And in case you didn't know, Rock Head removes recoil damage from moves that would normally do so, like Head Smash, which is already Rampardos' strongest attack. And along with the fighting type, it could learn a couple of new fighting moves like Submission, which also does recoil, or maybe even a new exclusive Headbutt type of fighting move, since there's not really any of those I can think of. I think it'd be awesome to see Mega Rampardos alongside its counterpart Bastiodon, but we'll get to that later on in the video, because our next gym leader is of course Gardenia, whose ace Pokemon in the current games is Roserade, but if she was to get a Mega Evolution, there's another Pokemon of hers that I think would benefit more from it, and that's our little berry boy CHERRIM. CHERRIM is interesting because it already has a signature ability called Flower Gift, which, when it's exposed to sunlight, like from the move Sunny Day, it transforms into its sunshine form and gains attack and special defense. But if it had a Mega Evolution, it would get stats from that anyway, so it doesn't really need that Flower Gift anymore. Instead, my idea for CHERRIM is that it absorbs so much energy from the sun that it literally becomes one, and the first ever grass and fire type Pokemon. It's a type combination fans have wanted for a while, and I get it's kind of tricky to think of one, but CHERRIM kind of fits since it's already known to like absorb sun and transform when it does. So in its Mega Evolution, it would literally catch on fire, but not in a way that hurts it, you know, it's just a little sunshine berry that's grass and fire, with the ability Drought, which of course summons the sun and powers up fire type moves. The only problem is CHERRIM doesn't currently learn any fire moves, so it would either have to learn some new ones in this potential Mega Evolution Sinnoh game, or it could have a totally new ability that transforms its normal moves into fire type moves, similar to other abilities like Pixelate and Aerialate, but for fire type. Oh my god. That's amazing. Does it have Drought too? Desolate Land? Bro. Okay, that's a little too extreme now. Moving on to the third gym leader, which depending on if you're playing Diamond Pearl or Platinum could be different, but we're gonna go with Maylene, the leader of the fighting gym in Sinnoh. And she's also got a couple of Pokemon that are capable of Mega Evolving already, at least in like the post-game rematch. She's got Lucario and Medicham on her team, but she's also got Hitmontop, which is an awesome candidate to get a new Mega Evolution. And sticking with the theme that like Mega Evolving is actually harmful to your Pokemon, I feel like Hitmontop could like fully lose control, as in it can't stop spinning anymore. And because of this, it will gain the ability Skill Link, which makes multi-hit moves guaranteed to hit every single time. So for example, Hitmontop's Triple Kick, its signature move, would be guaranteed to hit 3 times every time. In the Isle of Armor, Hitmontop also gained access to Triple Axle, which is basically Triple Kick but Ice type, and somehow does more damage, so maybe Triple Kick could use a buff too. But either way, all these triple hit moves, and if it learns any other like 5 times hits, they would be guaranteed to hit every time basically with Skill Link. And because it's constantly spinning, I think it'd be cool if it actually got a buff to its defense stat, because spinning constantly means that enemies can't really get close to it without getting hurt themselves, or like, yeah, it'd have a pretty good physical defense. Like, you can't really just get in there and attack it. I guess it would gain some speed too. Like, Beyblades are pretty dang fast, man. What the frick is this? I mean, there's a Gigantamax Hitmontop, which is sort of what I thought. You know, it's not too far from Beta Hitmontop's design, but like I said, it'd be spinning constantly, so you wouldn't get to see that horrifying third eye. Moving on to the Ghost-type gym leader, Fantina, who's also got a couple of Mega Evolving Ghosts on her rematch team in Gengar and Baynet. But her signature Pokemon is much more fitting to receive a new Mega Evolution. And I'm of course talking about MISMAGIUS. It's hard to imagine a Mega Evolution concept for this, but for some reason what comes to my mind is like the hat completely taking over its body. Like at that point, it's just a giant floating hat with eyes, kind of like the Sorting Hat from Harry Potter, but floating and more terrifying with psychic powers, which is why this could be the first non-legendary psychic and ghost type. Right now there's like Hoopa, but this would make it really powerful in terms of special attacks. Ghost and psychic have a lot of hard-hitting special moves at the cost of 2 4x weaknesses to dark type and other ghost types, which is why I think the filter ability would be perfect to at least help it tank a little bit against these certain moves. Surprisingly, no one's drawn a concept where it's just a giant hat with eyes, but I guess this one's kind of close to what I'm envisioning and might fit as a psychic ghost. But essentially it would be a glass cannon, so like a sucker punch could knock that thing out the air in one hit. So with the filter ability, it could at least maybe not die so easily. Just please don't put me in Slytherin. This is where things start to get a little crazy, and I'm not just talking about Crasher Wake's muscles. Sinnoh's water-type gym leader does have a Sharpedo and maybe also Gyarados, which both Mega Evolve, but his main guy is definitely Floatzel, and it's also a Pokemon I think a lot of fans of Sinnoh would like to see Mega Evolve. Now, Floatzel's main gimmick is the flotation sac around its neck, which according to the Pokédex, it can inflate and deflate when it dives underwater to swim quicker. So for its Mega Evolution, I'd like to imagine what would happen if that sac just kept inflating bigger and bigger until it could float in the air. Yeah, we're making Floatzel another water flying type, but one that uses more physical moves instead of special, because like all the other water birds attack with special. So the closest fan art I could find isn't really as inflated as I imagined in my head, but like, let's just pretend its floaty can help it fly through the air, and it can still deflate it if it wants to like dive quickly, but it can still use its propeller tail to fly quickly through the air as it does in the water, kind of like Tails from Sonic. You know, it's got its little propeller tail. That's how I imagine FLOATZEL, except with a big raft on its back that it can fly with somehow. If this somehow became a reality, I think the ability Aerialate would be perfect for it, since FLOATZEL doesn't currently learn very many flying moves, if any, so turning its normal type attacks into flying would definitely help it have a little more variety. Now, earlier we chose Rampardos as the mega evolving partner of Rourke, so it's only fair we have its counterpart Bastiodon Mega Evolve too. Byron is Rourke's dad after all, which is why I'm guessing they each got like their own fossil Pokemon. And with Bastiodon already being a dual rock and steel type, I think that would probably stay the same. But in terms of design, I'd like to imagine its shield face becoming a little bit more offensive. I mean, they say the best offense is a good defense, or maybe it's the other way around, but my point is Bastiodon should grow big spikes out of its shield too, becoming both an immovable object but also an unstoppable force if it was ramming straight at ya. Which is why it's gaining the Iron Barbs ability that makes Pokemon attacking you take damage back if they use a physically contacting move. Bastiodon's weakness has always been fighting, so now at least those fighting types gotta worry about getting hurt back, although I guess a Focus Blast would still do it pretty dirty. It'd be interesting if it lost that rock type so it doesn't have so much of a fighting weakness, but then it'd literally just be Mega Aggron, so I wanted Bastiodon to stand out a little more. Next, we're taking a trip up north to Candace's ice gym in Snow Point, and her ace Pokemon is Abomasnow, which of course already has a Mega Evolution, so if they were to add Megas into Diamond and Pearl, I feel like that would probably just be hers, like Mega Abomasnow. But it'd be much cooler if she got a new Mega Evolution, like FROSLASS. Or Weavile, but I think Weavile's pretty good as it is, so FROSLASS could definitely benefit more from it, as currently it's kind of a mixed attacker, having equal attack and special attack. So I imagine in its Mega Evolution, it would become a Glass Cannon, or Ice Cannon if you will, losing its physical attack to gain immense special attack and speed, but not necessarily the best defenses. Glalie got a Mega Evolution in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, so why not have its more feminine counterpart have one too? And in terms of design, I imagine FROSLASS becoming sort of like an ice version of Spiritomb, like a swirling snowstorm with the face of FROSLASS barely visible. And due to this dramatic change, it would gain the Snow Warning ability, which summons the Hailstorm when the Pokemon comes out into battle. This would actually help FROSLASS a lot because even though it has Snow Veil right now, which helps it in the snow, it needs someone else to actually set it up for it. But with Snow Warning, it's already got the hail out there, so Blizzard would become 100% accurate, and it would also be able to set up the move Aurora Veil to make up for its sort of weak defenses. I guess it'd be similar to Alola Ninetales at that point, but Ghost instead of Fairy as its secondary typing. Yeah, there's not really a fan art that looks too much like it. And finally, rounding out the gym leaders, we've got Volkner, the electric master of Sunyshore, who has two Pokemon I would really want to Mega Evolve. Those being his signature Pokemon, Electivire, but I feel like Luxray needs it a lot more. I mean, fans have been asking for Mega Luxray since like Mega Evolutions became a thing where it become an electric and dark type as it was always supposed to be. I don't know, actually. I feel people say it should be dark just because of its like color scheme, but to be honest, I feel Luxray would become weaker if it was half dark, because the only benefit would be Crunch being powered up since it gets the same type attack bonus, but it would also gain 3 more weaknesses to fighting, fairy, and bug types. So is it really worth it? It might be if it gains the Strong Jaw ability, which increases the power of biting moves by 50%. And this of course includes Crunch, but also Thunder Fang, Ice Fang, and Fire Fang, all of which Luxray can learn. Because it's now got Strong Jaw, I think its design would have to reflect that by looking a little more Sabertooth-like, maybe growing just giant fangs, way bigger than Raikou, so they don't look too similar. Maybe so big that it's actually uncomfortable for it to even breathe or exist. I mean, that's like the dark side of Mega Evolution right there, dude. Because of its newly found physical prowess, Mega Luxray would lose out on a bit of its special attack stat in exchange for more physical attack and speed, because it definitely needs some speed. It's not very fast right now. Now that's all the Mega Evolutions we've got for today, but if you guys enjoyed this kind of video, smash that like button, and if we can hit 2,000 likes, I might do another one with the Elite Four, Champion, and maybe even the Battle Frontier brains of Sinnoh, and what Mega Evolutions they could have had. But don't I don't want to think about it too much, because I might just cry, but like seriously guys, I feel like these remakes were the perfect opportunity to bring back Mega Evolutions. We had them in Let's Go Sinnoh, and considering they're not linked at all to Sword and Shield and there's no Dynamaxing or any of that, I feel like Sinnoh Megas could have totally happened, but who knows why they decided not to. I mean, maybe because this is Ilka's first game. Game Freak weren't quite ready to give them that much creative liberty, but then again, Masuda is supervising, so before I get too riled up, I want to thank you all so much for watching and thank all the artists that drew these amazing Mega Evolution fan arts. And hopefully next generation, or in Generation 17, when Platinum finally gets remade, we might just see that Mega Infernape.